Greetings and welcome to the show. This is Video Game Book Club, where we each pick a game to play for that month, and if you beat the game, you get to choose the game that you want to play when your month comes around and everybody is forced to play it. I'm here with Brabdo, Forlo, and Ringworm. Colin, what is the game of the month this month?
Path of the Goddess. Not saying the
What's the
first
first
part.
portion? You can't say the first
Hold
part.
on.
Okay.
You're
Japanese.
missing part.
Yeah,
Hold on.
well, that's
Also,
the tough.
Brabdo has claimed the Confederacy.
Okay, well.
Huh?
You did.
Do you have a recording of that?
Yeah, it's a civil war.
So Reynatus is about the most useless goddess. About
Ray Natus.
that's a Freudian slip. We'll get to Reynatus later.
Oh,
Path,
no.
Path of the Goddess is about a goddess that can't move on her own. She's the most useless goddess in all of mythological history. And what's your name, Suh, or some shit?
You
So
think that's how you pronounce
so
that?
goes.
Suh.
what is it?
So
S-O-H, dude.
it's like a thing, dude. It's
So
like a
sick.
thing that exists but doesn't exist.
Yeah, because this game's so sick. Yeah. Um,
Yo, Shiro, what I'm
Oh.
saying, dude?
what's the goddess's name?
Yo, Shiro, what I'm saying?
Oh,
But you can't say Kunitsu-Gami.
Adds a mystery element, dude.
It's going to be in the title of the video.
Forlo,
is
can
why
you
the
tell me the
South
3
lost.
things you do in this game?
You do a lot of things in this game. What do you mean 3?
Okay, so there's 3 things you do
Real
in this
gamer.
game. You help this goddess go through the path that she has to go through, which opens a door, or you're fighting a boss, or you're building a town. Those are the 3 things you do in this entire game. While you do that, you gather villagers, and these villagers can hold different jobs when you're helping her on her path, because once nighttime hits, you start with the cope, seething, and mauling, and the seeds are what get you. The mauling and the coping isn't necessarily the problem. It's
You're going to have to
just
wait for
the-
Kunitsu-Gami Part 2 for that one.
yeah. And they go to attack the goddess, and your job is to make it so you don't attack. So they don't attack the goddess, which means that every single mainline mission is an escort mission, which I was not a fan of. I'm going on record.
It's probably only. It's not
I
even
think-
like half the game.
I think we gotta slash that from the record, though. I don't think we should objectively refer to it as a quest where you're just bringing her along. Like that's like Bloons Tower Defense is an escort quest. It's like, well, no,
That's a good game.
that's just it's
What's
like
the
Calling-
difference?
Calling this game a tower defense game is a stretch to begin with as well, in
Why?
my opinion, because
Because there's no towers.
when you build and
Hold
your
on.
army,
The towers are the villagers.
and there's
the
buildings that you
difference.
build
They're
to put
people.
towers. Like
So
people on the
okay, well,
towers
hold
and
on.
shit as well.
That
Do
make
you think a tower has to be literally a tower?
StarCraft 2
Not a
a tower
monkey?
defense game?
It can be with a mod. Is a monkey a tower? So a monkey throwing a dart's a tower, but an archer's not.
But the monkey
Well,
doesn't move. The monkey doesn't move.
Some of them do. It's
It's
planes.
just a very non-traditional take on a tower defense because there's a vast difference between traditional tower defense games such as Blooms or Gemcraft or any of that, and what this game does, where it gives you a small amount of units, and you place them, and sometimes it really doesn't matter where you place them. Sometimes it does matter where you place them,
Well,
but
I mean, it's essentially, it's like a third-person action game with real-time strategy and tower defense. It's not like making it way more complicated than it is. I think saying
you
it's
added
not a
the
tower
real-time
defense is crazy.
strategy and I was just focusing on the tower defense things. I don't think that this game really breaks any barriers when it comes to gameplay. And it is quite
not-
simple.
Well, not that it
I-
breaks barriers, but it's vastly unique. Can you name another
Yeah.
game that's even one like? There's no similar game like this that exists.
I think there's a reason for that.
Well,
Why?
it's like other games light.
It doesn't really work
Yeah.
that well.
Worked great. What do you mean? Critically acclaimed game.
Not by me.
Well,
Didn't we denounce critics on this channel? after Spiritfarer.
That game has merit. That's how you
It's a
look at it.
pretty game. I will say that. The game is very pretty.
My whole point
That
is
is
saying it's not a tower defense. It's like it is a tower defense game. It's just multiple genres. Played
It
tons of
is
games.
multiple
It's like
genres.
Yeah, and my point was just let's start it off with what it's trying to be before we get into the nitty-gritty bias of how much we enjoyed or disenjoyed, based
That
on what was to us.
that's completely fair. This game is long, but not too long.
it's. I was gonna say it's literally about half as long as the last game we played.
But for some reason, when I played it, it felt longer. You get what I'm
Feels
saying?
longer than it is.
Did anybody else feel that?
So
Puts you
my
in the
relationship
evil-
with this game was about, like, the first, I don't know, quite a bit. I was like, "Okay, I'm just getting through this game." But there was one point, like, about halfway through where some switch flipped in my mind when I actually had to play the game. And, I don't know, it's,
Nope,
actually enjoyable.
we're on the exact same wavelength because I do think like the first half of the game is utterly fucking boring.
Like, you
and
don't
they
have to
r-
try anything, you pick any troop, you put them anywhere, you
When
win.
you say first half, you mean like every level except for the last two, right?
No,
The first time it was Omega apparent,
did
like,
not
it started
use-
getting a little bit more difficult, but the first time it got mega apparent was when I think it's the second time they force you to be dead, and then they also spawn the fucking can only die from behind Bellman in the same mission. And then you're like, "Oh shit, I
I
actually
did
have
not
to
use
have
my
different types of
brain
guys and move
the
them."
vast majority of this game.
Sorry. I did not use my brain.
I was just pressing buttons and spawning in gun guys.
Oh, that's worth noting. So there's multiple different classes that you can unlock. Axemen, archers, ninjas. I used almost exclusively ranged characters: marksmen, archers, cannoneers. What did you guys use?
I used a mix.
Everything.
Usually one sumo guy, followed by two shamans, and then whatever was left over was either going to be muskets or pikes, depending on if I was fighting majority sky or ground type enemies.
I had that busted ass fucking I don't even know what the fuck it's called, aesthetic character, whatever the fuck it's called.
slows them down.
That,
And
like,
then and then
slows
for
him
the-
down, does, like, AoE damage in the front, blocks him. One healer in the middle of the pack, and then my best ranged unit spam, archers until I got cannoneers.
Sounds like Brabdo used his brain, man. Using a lot of these units.
Yeah, I mean 3 units.
I don't know.
And then I got to the end of the game and I switched to all ninjas, and it was just
I feel like that's
ninjas.
like purposely like
We'll
just
get to that.
trying to like not. It's the same thing you did with Lunacid, where it's just like you avoided playing the game.
But the game didn't.
Same with
It,
Lunacid.
it led me. Okay, well then it just wasn't difficult enough for me to think about having to play the game,
But
and
I
then
feel
when
like
it was just super
Yeah.
boring. The
You could
entire
just do
time.
that
It
with
was like
any game
nothing.
though, even like Kingdom Hearts.
Yeah, I feel like you wanna actively, like, play a game to enjoy it. If you don't like it, that's okay,
Okay, so
but,
I
like,
didn't enjoy the game because I didn't play the game
It's not that
properly.
you didn't play it properly. I just feel like you like decided it sucked within the first like hour, and then we're just like it sucks.
Nah,
You're just like downplaying any.
because I decided that Expedition 33 sucked within the first hour.
Yeah, but
But then it
no
became
one in their
not.
right mind
It became not
say
sucky.
that.
Game
Yeah.
of the fucking year.
But I think you're downplaying, like, you're making it seem like this game is complete garbage, which is kind of insane.
I mean, I feel like everything it tries to do, it's like, I don't know, it feels pointless. And like, there's a lot, and I mean a lot of time wasting in this game. Oh my god! Like 90% of this game is just wasting your time.
It's not even long.
Oh, exactly. So like when you actually boil down the gameplay, you've got like an hour worth of gameplay in your 20-hour game.
It's a 13
I don't know, I feel like
game.
you're playing the entire time. You don't have to
You're waiting.
run
You're
between
waiting
missions,
for
you
guys
don't have to
to come at you. You're waiting for her to walk. You're waiting for you have to go to every single village individually so that you can wait for the
You
guys.
don't have to. Well, you don't have to
guys
do that. You literally don't.
Okay, it just makes the game a lot harder if you
Not
don't.
re-
So
Well,
yeah.
not if you just the way you played it. It seemed like you didn't have to do any of that. If you just used one
Well,
unit.
no, I did have to do that because my strategy was, relevant to how many crystals I had. You couldn't make sumo guys without 300 crystals. So, yeah, you had to keep going back to the base to make sure they were fully topped off so you could start the round with the maximum amount of crystals, because for some reason, like, it wants you to go back to bases that you've even done already just so you could top off the cr it's just a massive waste of time, and it could've just been a menu.
So the flavor of the game is actually pretty decent. The loop of it is that you go to a village that is infected with seeds, and then you take the goddess to the path and open the door and keep the egg in the circle, which we'll talk about later. And then after you open the door, it's purged of the seeds, and then that location is open for people to just live happily. But since every town is destroyed, you have to rebuild it. And the portion of rebuilding this town is what Brabdo was just talking about.
Right.
So you'll sit there for around, I didn't know it was going to be this long, but it's about a third to the half of the game, going from town to town, making sure that you are doing this base building mini game. My only problem with the base building mini game is that sometimes they have a, in my opinion, completely useless mechanic of you picking up wood from the villagers to bring to the places that need
whole
wood
thing
to
is completely
develop.
It's not that you get rewards for it. How is it useless?
Yeah, you get
But
but it's
also
like
a
it's just
third
a
to a
time.
half is incredibly
Yeah.
way
You
overstated.
spend maybe
You don't
3
get
minutes in the
the
village at a time, at most.
Yeah, except for there's 12 villages, so you have to keep going through all different
Don't, because you complete them
I
over the
finished all
way.
the villages on, like, the second time ever going there, you know, and it's like a less
Exactly.
than a 30-second trip each
You're making
time.
it seem like
And once you realize, "Oh, the only thing I care about is the pink bags," then you only do the pink bag ones and then leave instantly.
and you're
Well,
Well, if
no,
you're
you
not
can't do that,
no,
you
to
have to
upgrade
complete the
them
village in order to
yeah.
increase the amount of max crystals.
Well, yeah, if you're using the most expensive troop as all your troops,
No, but what
that
I'm
makes sense why you'd want
what
more
I'm saying,
crystals.
you're making it seem like it takes 1/3 of the game, but you literally complete the villages as you go. So it's not like you're going back to 12 villages constantly. You're
You are if you're trying to max out your amount of crystals at the start of the game because each one will only give you 100 crystals.
I don't know what you're saying. I'm saying you complete.
When you start the game, you start with
Yes,
an
I know,
amount
and
when you start
you
a
gain
round,
larger crystals, but I'm saying you complete the village, and then you get that reward, and then you never have to go back again.
but you do have to go back if you don't have enough crystals that you wanna have for the start of the
That's
next
crazy
round.
because I didn't play like that, and I had thousands of crystals. I beat the game with, like, 5,000 crystals, so I don't know what the fuck you're talking
Yeah, well,
about.
the last level loads you up on the crystals, so that's
Well,
fine.
like, every
Yeah.
level I spawned in with, like, fucking, like, 2,000
Why
to
would you be
start,
spending you're
and
not
then
spending all the money you earn through the level and, like, coming out with 0 and then having to re-up every level. That's not happening.
I came out of a couple levels with 0 crystals and had to
That's
retop them all.
crazy.
That happened at least
well,
2
that
or
makes
3
sense.
times.
I think we solved that one with the sumo troop, you know what I'm saying?
Well,
Like,
if you're just blowing all your
if you're
money.
using
because
the one that
Brabdo
costs
was
if you're
yeah.
using the one that costs 6 times a majority of every other DPS troops, then that makes sense that you're running out of crystals.
Because Brabdo was spending big money, he had to spend big time with with
That's
the
a
villages.
choice.
Now, I my my thing about the time at the villages is that I could, like, easily say that a third-ish of the time was going back to villages, because the time you spend going back to villages ends up being more as the time goes on. Um, like, at one point, I was trying to get 3 villages maxed at the same time because the wooden structures took 2 times to build instead of 1 rotation to build. But if time isn't spent doing villages that much, and if time isn't spent bringing the chick to the path that much, which has both been stated,
Hold
what are
on.
we doing in this game? It's not fighting bosses,
It
it's
hasn't been
literally
stated
going.
that the she's bringing her on the path's not the game because
And
that is the game. Like,
but
that's, like,
but that's my
Okay,
thing.
then
It's
I
like
misheard.
I just hear this bitching. It's like doing this, doing it's like you want the whole game to be played in a menu and it's just simmed the whole thing like it's some fucking fantasy football.
I
Like
mean,
what
no, what I wanna do is play a game that's exciting and fun to play that has, like, that, like, make me wanna continue to keep playing it instead of fall
I
asleep.
guess, but
so why is this not Ray Natus with other
what?
elements?
It don't basically is Reynatus.
With other elements, with more things on top.
I don't know if you remember, I didn't really didn't really care for Reynatus.
Cared for it more than you're sounding right now. Quite a bit. I
Just about.
So when it comes to the combat system, The combat system isn't necessarily, like, super in-depth, but you can make it more in-depth as time goes on. It's a light and heavy attack, but it's not like a Devil May Cry type thing. Um, Essentially, you have combos, and these combos, which is a little bit jarring and clunky at first, but you get used to it. Say you hit the attack button, the light attack button twice, and then you hit your heavy button. This'll bring you into a flourish, or if you press it once and then hit the heavy attack button, this will bring you
Ryugen.
into, like, an uppercut. So it takes some time to get used to, but for as fluid as the game looks, sometimes the controls do feel a little bit clunky. Um, when it comes to that, there's a problem I have when it comes to, uh, where the people spawn in the gameplay aspect. You can't just camp the spawn, which I think is fine. And it's not necessarily because there's a pool around it damaging you. I think the pool damaging you around the door that the seed come out is fine. I think the iframes is what aggravated me because if I put a certain amount of units at a place and they're ranged units, the later game ranged units will waste their bullet on the invincible people and then have to spend time reloading, allowing the wave to come closer. I understand that's a gameplay choice, but that forces you to stop the goddess earlier than you want it to, which you could say is a skill issue, but it's a very easy rectifiable skill issue that requires the most minimal amount of restraint. But I got quite impatient with the game at points, especially during the Lake of Rot.
I'll agree with you on that point of the, instead of them showing you where she ends up once you spend a bajillion crystals on her path, which is not helpful at all because you're gonna spend all your crystals on making the path when you're spending all your crystals on making the path anyways. If they instead just, like, told you how many crystals till end from the very beginning of every thing, that would be way more of a helpful thing because then you could go, "Okay, now I wanna go," or, "Now I have enough time to spend the crystals to actually finish this thing." And there were a couple of times where, like, the night starts as she's, like, a frame away from the end of the door, and it's like,
The game
are we
could use a ton of quality of life features that I think would make it better, but then, like, then it would be even shorter.
Well, well, I already know you're gonna talk about the defilement, having to find them, but I
Well, I
Did you want
mean,
it to be longer,
one thing is,
Brad,
like, finding them, but, like, you walk up to it, you press the B button, you go, "Okay, I got the thing, I got 10 more crystals." I go walk over to the next one, press the B button, wait for it to go, this thing, like, over and over again, and you're like, "Okay, when do I get to the part where I actually, like, be killing enemies?" And then,
set up
okay,
your thing.
you wait there, okay, they spawn in, you move the guys around, okay, they're moved around, now we wait, here they come. Alright, you hit them once, you hit them twice, alright, you wait again. And then it's like, it doesn't matter how many of them you
I
kill,
don't
it's
I
on a
feel like
timer.
that's, like, super unfair to the later levels because you're not waiting as much as you are in the early game. The waves are way more frequent,
and there's a convenient skip
and you
time
can skip the
button,
whole day.
so
Yeah, but the skip time button doesn't work during battle like it should.
no, but it
That
skipped it to when you're waiting for a majority of the time. Because during battle, you shouldn't be waiting, you should be
But you're but
battling.
you're waiting, but you're not waiting because like I said, you have to spend the time to go get all these defilements all over the place.
That's why I'm
But
so confused because 'cause you're like, on one half, you're complaining, like, you're just doing nothing, you're sitting, you're waiting, and then it's like, "Oh, well, you have to go do this thing
you're
and find
walking
this thing."
forward in the same way that you spend half the game in Reynatus walking forward to the next
I just
objective.
don't know how you could be mad about game and then be like, "There's no game."
Well, there was portions of the game where it was nighttime and I was waiting, just chilling between waves, or even worse, I would purposely leave one enemy up just to not have to deal with the rest of the wave that might have come later. I don't know if that's even how
It
that
does, yeah.
actually works, but there was some downtime between, nighttime levels because essentially every level is on rails once it hits night. And I think that portions of my gameplay, not a lot of it, but portions of it was just standing there doing nothing, and
But
that's a
that's
problem.
literally every tower defense game. A wave comes, and then guess what? You sit there and wait.
You clear the wave, and then a new wave
But
comes?
it's
But
not as cerebral as it should be, and that if that's the gameplay see, it's got its feet dipped in both camps, but it
oh,
doesn't do either of them very well at all.
I'm confused at how, like, a 5-second, maybe maximum, like, 7-second wait in between waves is an issue, because if it's in between nights, you can skip it, and then it's also a
Okay, but
7-second
then
skip.
when the guys actually show up, what are you doing? You're walking over
You
them and
kill
pressing
them,
the
and
X
then if
button,
and then
and
if
you're
you have to
pressing
wait
X, 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 okay, and now
if
they're
you're in the
dead.
first 5 levels where it's absolute goons and you're doing nothing, you unfortunately have to wait 7
But when
seconds
you
for a
say
new
first
wave.
5 levels, you actually mean all of the
No,
levels except
that's
for the last
bullshit.
2.
If you're telling me you're somehow
It's
killing
not bullshit. Should I
all of the
record my
seeds that are
gameplay next
spawning,
time?
yes, I would have loved to, because there's 4 different spawn locations, so how are you killing them all before another one spawns? It's not possible.
You walk to
No.
one side, you kill them. Oh, there's guys coming from the
Or
other side.
or
That's
Walk
like,
just
to the
not
other
the
side,
possible.
second
It's
kill
boat
just
'em.
not
level,
possible.
they're literally constantly spawning. Like, you're not just sitting there waiting, you can literally see them in the distance coming constantly.
Yeah, and
Like,
they
we're
just
trolling with that one,
destroyed,
and
like, all the boats, but then, like, then at the end, I'm like, "Oh, all my boats are destroyed," but they're all dead, then it's over. So, like, once the boats start destroyed, they only spawn in into, like, 2 different
I
spots.
guess, but you're making it seem like you just killed a wave and then you sit there for 5
trying to
minutes
not
and wait for
interact with
another
the
it's like,
game.
it's not like that at all.
Yeah, it's maximum 7 seconds on the levels where they do it the harshest to you in
I'll say the
between waves.
hardest thing I had to do in this game was struggle to stay awake while playing it.
That's
I
crazy, I
don't
I
think so.
heard you
I think the
fucking
last
Halo
last
raging at the
one
last boss.
really
Yeah, on the last fight because and then, oh, okay, well, we get right to the end. All the cool, like, stuff that you spend time building up your dudes just at the very last fight to fight like a fucking a Temu, Dark Souls battle, like,
Dude, I think the end sequence is straight up goated, from the
yeah,
music to the fucking everything, dude. I think the end of this game was fire.
As
it
much
was
as I
like
was raging at the final boss, it was because of everything that preceded it, especially the spider, which I will have a whole rant about. I really enjoyed the final boss. It had some shit, bro. I learned every move of that final boss. I know everything about it now. Forlo was there watching me get
To be fair,
absolutely
Frank,
shit canned.
you were so incredibly under quote unquote leveled for what this game does for levels. Like you were doing so little
I was
damage.
doing no damage.
You had 1.5 special moves only at the end did you equip that one that barely helped you whatsoever. Like mine, Frank, I straight up for the first phase had the cannoneers up, used my fire special, the cannoneers put him down, I stab him. He gets up, I use my second special, it insta puts him down, I stab him with the crit. Oh, you didn't even have the crit.
But
You
what I did not know there was a critical in this game.
Yeah, on the cell upgrades, you just whenever you stun an enemy, you can right click them or do the heavy attack in front of them, and
Yeah.
it does a crit and does a bunch of so I just crit him, put him down with a special, crit him, put him down with a special, did the 3rd special, crit him, and he's just dead.
But I'm fairly like I'm more than okay. I'm actually glad that I was underleveled because it did pose a decent challenge. Kinda like how I enjoyed, the first half of the final boss, when it came to Brave Fencer Musashi. I hate the second half of that boss, but when he's the big green thing, it's a good boss. You learn all of his moves front to back, and he
the problem
has
is you
some
have to do it
bullshit.
30 times.
And you have to do it 30 times, yada yada. But, like, I enjoyed, I like picking apart a boss because of all of the, like, quote unquote FromSoft Dark Souls things. I can sit here and run my face into a boss's fist until it breaks its hand. I liked that part. Even though I got very, very stressed. But everything leading up into I liked the boss rush as well. I think the last 10% of this game is better than the previous 90 by far. But
Well, no,
that spider
problem
boss
with the
can
spider
suck me.
I'd like to tie this all
the
to
problem with the
go
boss
ahead.
rush is they make you fight the spider boss again right after fighting the spider boss. What I
You're
agree,
telling
that's
me, dude.
fucking ridiculous. That
Yeah,
boss sucks.
And
ridiculous.
there were other bosses that they
Yeah.
could have put in the boss rush but didn't. Instead, you
But
fight the boss you
besides
just
that
fought.
boss,
It's like,
I
"What?
think, like,
Doing this
most of the
again?"
bosses are actually pretty cool, and they make you do different things, which and
I didn't hate the
Bro,
bosses.
the music tracks were hitting during the rush. It's fucking they're going
how do you hate the
crazy on it. I'm
bosses?
telling you, if you guys weren't
Oh, okay, I thought
I
you
said
said
I
you
didn't
hated
hate the bosses. That's, like, the best thing about the game, really.
Monsters were the best
some of them
about
suck.
it.
Some of them are
I
like
did
Yeah,
like
I
them.
agree. The centipede, when you're not high enough level
yeah.
to do much of anything, you just chase them around till worms come up out is a little lame.
Well,
I did not really have any problem with the
I'll
centipede.
go further.
It's just long. Not that it's
I guess I
hard.
just took time.
I would have enjoyed this game much, much more if they took all the time they put into making this tower defense push the goddess to the doorway mode and just made it exclusively a boss rush game. Then I would have much less of a problem. Like, because I feel like they have enough enemies and enough variety and can construct an enemy well enough to make a full boss rush game using the same exact mechanics that they did. I personally didn't like the quote unquote tower defense wave based combat much at all. And the setup was not tedious, but it got really the same. It wasn't that engaging. So half of the time at the start of every level, it was more of like going through the motions.
I feel like if this game was bigger and more ambitious and had more stuff going on, it would have been a lot better. Instead of controlling like 4 dudes or like at a maximum of 12 dudes, it could have been like, 20 dudes, but then it would have impacted your, effectiveness as a single unit doing it. This is what I mean when I say that the game has its foot in both camps, and I think it's detrimental to each gameplay style to have the other one
I think
around.
I don't know.
And this is why I don't think that you see games that are like this that try to match 2 vastly
But I
different things
appreciate
together.
the game trying.
I appreciate a game trying, but at the same time, it just makes me mad because I'm thinking, I bet you the game that's like
I don't
amazing,
know.
but that's just not what I played.
I don't know. I think that it gains a lot just by being unique. 'Cause if this was just some random RTS game, it would
I
just
agree. I
be
think
boring. It wouldn't really change anything. It would just be generic, which makes it worse.
I think flavor-wise, the game is fantastic as like, the flavor of it, if you're like a flavor like you play games for flavor, then this game's probably gonna be like peak, right up there with,
Now
Nier
should I?
Automata.
I actually disagree with that. I think they dropped the ball on a lot of flavor opportunities. For instance, if you get a thing up to, if you get a village up to the fully reconstructed, like the leader of the village gets a little piece of like candy or whatever the fuck, you know? But you don't know much else about this fucking person except for their favorite piece of candy. You can't name the villagers that you bring into battle because in reality the game knows you're not going to see them that much, so they all have their own little names. I did not feel attached to any of these characters whatsoever, despite the fact that I'm sitting here ridding a world that my main character very clearly cares about. I know nothing of this world still
You gotta
after
understand, this game doesn't have a single
Yeah, to be
dialogue
fair,
box.
I was gonna say the story's kinda not really, like, actively much out of, we gotta purge this shit," and
And I
then,
think that's that's the
you
game's
walk around
biggest
dancing,
strength, is it
and you
just
gotta
shows you
purge this
everything that
shit.
happens. There's no exposition, it's not necessary. It's not groundbreaking, but at that level, I think it succeeds
No, 'cause
because it just shows you all
this game would
the
be
things that
100
happen.
times worse if it was, let's say they added, like, 6 more hours and you just got hit with dialogue boxes.
No, I'd 1,000% say that this game is just waiting if we fucking had to go through actual, like, cutscenes that weren't the boss
Oh,
going,
that was
or fucking
that was one of the
her
biggest
dancing at
issues
me,
with
you know what I'm
fucking
saying?
Reinatus. Just dialogue bloat and exposition dumps of the same shit over and
True.
over again.
And then open up your
Yeah.
text message fucking board.
Yeah, I wouldn't want the game to over to over embellish like the world. I wouldn't want it to overdo it because we do see a lot of that in games. After Image did it, Reinatus did it. Like I don't want the game to like sit here and like make me read a novel about each town, but to maybe like, hey, instead of, giving this leader a piece of cake, why don't she like say 3 text boxes of like who they are and why they are leading or like something like that, something to give me a little bit more, something to fight for. I feel
I
as
don't know
though
if
I
I
was
agree.
just fighting for good's sake, but I didn't feel as though I had any accomplishment when I got the town. It was just something that I was supposed to do.
I mean, I don't know, it's like, these guys are bad, obviously. You guys are good, clearly. You gotta
Where
beat the bad. It's
where
like,
did the bad people come from?
they watch they came out the gate. Where from the
Why?
does it matter? If you find out they came from hell, does that change the or if they came from the spirit realm, does that make you like or the narrative more or less? It
It
has no
makes
bearing on
me
it,
it
doesn't
makes
matter.
I would like to know what the
But
goddess I'm carrying around,
but what if they
what
came from
the
space?
goddess
Would that change the vibe of the game at all?
the
Probably
goddess
not.
of
Oh, it's
flowers
all
and
Japanese
dancing, like
folklore. You can look it up. Or yokai, dude.
I'm pretty sure they have some text somewhere
Well, in the very
talking about some
beginning, you get
stuff,
that,
and I
like,
know that they have, like
scuffed English thing. You get it at the end too, that voice with a couple text.
right.
does anyone know who this goddess is?
Oh, well, I can tell you what she does. She dances, and the evil guys don't like it, and the gates get closed. And then the areas that look like shit now all, "Oh, wow,
Well, there's
there's
it's the
running water and
defilement.
everything's sparkling, all the flowers are
You gotta get
blooming."
rid of the defilement.
Okami coming
Well,
up.
also, all the story is in those, it's
Kami
all in
has
those
the opposite.
plaques, Frank. You know, yeah, you get those plaques? That's it's the
Yeah,
files.
Yeah,
okay.
and 90% of those plaques were locked behind the
The
uh
village.
no. No, believe it or not, that was a small handful of the plaques. A majority of them are in the each mission,
Oh, right,
the
like, you have to
challenges. Yeah, you can get
you have to,
2
like,
plaques
use
from a lot of the levels, and you can get at least 1 from the timer on the boss.
you gotta use the
Oh,
butterfly bow to shoot the target to get to a rock that you couldn't jump to
which I
in
was
order to open a
trying to I
chest.
saw the 2 targets in that one village. I shot the target maybe 70 times. I didn't have the fucking right bow because I
I
others would have let me
I ain't
teleport.
gonna lie, I never did any of fucking those. I made sure to I only got the ones that I got that were like, "Oh, you didn't take damage," or what by accident on a thing, and then every now and then I'd get the boss one, but I never actively tried to do any of the, level
I'm
missions.
I'm gonna be a bit harsh and say that I think this game is a little audacious for having challenges in every level when every level is an on rails, like, forced amount of time thing. Because I don't know anybody that would
But
want
you're just waiting the
to
whole
go
time.
back.
Well,
I'm
my
sure
problem
that
is my problem is the challenges you don't know about the challenges until
I do think
you've
that's
already
a
beaten the
flaw.
level.
That is a
that's
flaw.
another thing.
That is a flaw for sure, yeah.
It's just
Well,
it's audacious. It's like
If they told me that I was gonna get a reward for lighting all the and you get a reward for lighting none of the torches, then I would have done one of those 2 things
the
during
game
the
wants you to play it
playthrough.
twice, obviously, because that's how you get the true ending, which I don't agree with, but I get why it's like that.
Yeah, but then there's also when you do complete it, you get new game mode and new game plus.
You unlock
So,
zombies.
what
Yeah, it's like
is
a
that what that other game
wave-based,
mode
like,
is?
how long can you
Zom
live?
If I had another month
Yeah,
with the
makes
game,
sense.
I would consider, going through and doing all that, but I needed it. I would it
I don't
was
think it's worth it. It's not
the
worth
dawn
it.
of
I
Black
mean,
today.
just for another cutscene. Like, I sort of enjoyed the game, and I don't know if I would replay it all again.
but that sorta speaks volumes with you as a gamer, because you are
Me?
usually the true ending
I think
fiend, you
locking
know?
true endings behind, like, playing the
Yeah,
whole game again is kind of fucking lame. I don't mind true endings being like, have to collect
I
all this
agree.
shit or even,
Um,
like, doing obscure shit is kind of annoying, but not as bad as replaying the whole game.
yeah. As far as this game goes, I was surprised by the enemy variety. They were continuing to bring enemies that were new 8 or 9 levels in. Granted, most of the enemies, like, since it's a wave-based game, it's a lot of the chaff, like, first enemies that you've seen before. Um, I hate some of the enemies. The giant bell guys that you can only hit from behind are the bane of my existence, because I think it's a redundant enemy as well. They're just bullet sponges when they already have a giant walking bullet sponge enemy that's sort of like an ogre. Um, and then they have small flying enemies, but they have 2 types of large flying enemies, one that hovers above you and body slams you, and the other that has a spike that hovers around you and body slams you. So there's some redundancies. But when it comes to overall variety, I think there's like 12 or 15, something
See, there's
like that,
basically a new
which was
enemy every level,
surprising.
give or
Um,
take.
yeah,
Yeah.
sorta. But you only see one of them, and then they, like, get spread in apart. I did also realize because I did not die in a level until about 75% way through the game with the Lake of Rot. And later on when we were going into the village, and then the village before you fight
Where
the
you
spider
basically
boss,
can't
the
protect
village
her,
that the
yeah.
spider boss is in, I died as well.
That's a good level, though, I
Can't.
think.
You
I think
can't.
that's, like, one of the levels
Um,
where, like, you're kinda
but
on like, there's constantly shit happening in that level.
I
yeah.
thought it was a little unnecessary that the spider ran as fast as it did.
The spider runs much faster than you. I'm almost there. So, like, I realized that the game was, the enemy variety was modular. While certain enemies are guaranteed to spawn, like the 2 big guys behind you in that level, the enemies coming out of the gate are not always the same because I was preparing myself for certain types of enemies that killed me last time, and they didn't come. So I thought that that was something that wasn't necessarily good or bad, just interesting that they decided to code in different types of enemies for each run, despite respawning at the exact time, technically loading the exact place that you were. On to the spider. Brabdo, do you want to talk about the spider and then I can play off of
I
it
think you
because I feel
can.
as
I
though
think you can let it rip on the spider, dude.
the spider is the worst enemy in the game, long and away, by far. It's not even close. Um, the spider boss is so counterintuitive and so against the ideals of this game that it's jarring. So, this is a tower defense game where inherently you want to build your units in a way that are defensive around this woman who at the time is being drawn by carriage. She can't even walk. Again, worst goddess
Well,
I've
you
ever seen in my
She's
life.
getting
the
scarlet
game's a
rot, dude.
prologue to,
This spider
The
runs
Grudge.
around the map.
Yeah.
No, it is.
Yeah, okay. It's an
No,
homage
I'm
it's an
not even,
homage
like,
to
fucking
tab
around.
targeting as well. The, is
Well, because
that really
like,
the lore we're
why The
working
Grudge,
with here, The
it's like she
Grudge?
absorbed all the bad. It's it's literally, like,
Oh,
this
yeah,
based
'cause
on
of
I
the
looked it up.
curse
It's
of the
basically
yeah,
based off the
yeah.
same, like, folklore. So this is The Grudge.
Well, shit, dude, I would've rather played
Uh,
The Grudge as a game. That would've been sick, walking through a house, and evil's there. Either way, this spider so it spawns this is the first it might not be the first, but it's the first, enemy that spawns gates exclusively. Like, gates do not spawn in this
oh,
boss
no,
level unless
that
she does
bug
it
enemy in the
herself.
beginning of the game also
Um,
can do this.
okay, well, either way. So that
Actually, I'm pretty sure every boss spawns dudes, but
sure. So every time this, bug, the spider spawns the gate, that's when she is, like, standing still, okay? So she does it once in the beginning, and then throughout RNG as time goes on with scripted portions where she does it. So, she'll spawn the gate, you'll run up to her and start hitting her, and she skedaddles, alright? And she skedaddles notably about 20% faster than you can run. Which means that throughout this entire level, you're chasing her around. And the entire time you're chasing her around, to my knowledge, it is a combination of RNG and learned behavior. Because I swear she knows where your units are and knows not to go near them. So she's and you're in a city right now. You're in like a city block and there's buildings all over the place. So at any point, it's like Pac-Man. She could go left, she could go right, she could keep going down the path, she could turn around, and it is abysmal. It makes the fight last so fucking long. And the only time to really hit her to get your like 2 slash in is when she jumps up into the air and goes to slam down on you, which you can block. Um, but because even though she's the fastest enemy that is in the game, um, like, consistently, like, she's always running away, she also has an obscenely large stagger meter. That's right, there's even a stagger bar in this game that we haven't even talked about. You can stagger enemies to make them, fall down and shit. So that boss fight is needlessly long and so incredibly tedious, and you won't ever die from this boss attacking you. What you do is die because people hit the chick in the horse-drawn carriage because she spawns too many enemies at once for your people to kill. So you're essentially timed while chasing this chick the whole time, and you almost have to get lucky in some runs to beat her, and I
I've got
hated
2 things about the spider.
No
First
worries.
thing is that I think that I might get crucified for this one, but I genuinely think that's a good level. 1, because the spider is actively, like, trolling you on purpose. It's not like they designed the
True.
boss like
That's
shit.
true.
It's laughing at you as it does this. It knows you're a piece of shit. Um, and then secondly, I think if you genuinely had a horribly tedious time, it probably just had to do with the fact that once again, the next I watched your boss rush, Frank. You're incredibly underleveled. So when the spider showed up, yeah, it has a high stagger meter. I pulled up with my archers, I staggered it, stabbed it. Before it ran away, I staggered it again and stabbed it, and I did not interact with the spider running away until boss rush. The first time I fought it, I did not even like deal with that, and it was like a minute-long fight. So it might just be like a build type beat and not the boss was designed poorly type beat.
Well, if this is a build/skill issue and the punishment for the build/skill
Is the
is
spider laughing at you, telling you that that's the case? I think that's not the worst outcome.
I think that having to chase it around while it laughs at you is an egregious waste of my time, and that is actively wasting my time. Also, if you build your units in the middle of the map and let's bring ourselves back to the first time we fight this. If you build it in the middle of the map to increase your chances of being able to hit her while she weaves through these buildings, once she reaches half health, she does a airstrike, AC-130 drop on the whole middle of the map and all of your people die. So that's just a beginner trap.
Mhm.
I
Yeah, but you
don't
can, like,
like
move
beginner
your
traps.
dudes around. They're not like they're not to
But you
be
don't
fair.
know what's happening the first time.
Oh,
You
yeah,
mean
well,
like
the
when
first
they
time
do
you're
like
getting cooked by
the butterfly move or whatever, where they just hit the entire like lane in the middle?
yeah, just cook the whole
Yeah,
thing.
Yeah,
'cause what I did is
I
I
did get
lined them
lucky
up.
that no one died. I did have archers, which are like the lowest health, and all I
Yeah,
had was the slightly increases villager health talisman on, and they all lived with like 1 HP still. So I got lucky
I'm
there.
I
glad
think
that
it
you
sucks.
had a good time with
A
it.
lot
I
of the
did not.
levels, like, they want
Um
you to there's, like, a specific best build for every level. So, like ru
For
like, I
sure,
did play
like
most
by
levels, like, the
far.
same build, but it's like, that level could yeah, you could easily fucking eviscerate that level if you just have the correct build, and a lot of levels are like that. Like, the level where you're dead. Like, you can straight up just cheese that level by having enough of the gems to never even play the level. You can just heal her before anything even spawns, like
That's pretty much what I
Yeah.
ended up doing. I did like half of the first wave and then got
I
out.
don't know, I do think the spider's annoying, but I also
I should have done.
the game
But I
also,
did not
like,
struggle in that
that's
level either, so
that's probably the only
Yeah,
annoying
I
enemy,
agree
though.
it's annoying, but I think it's like not a
Like, what
I think
Um,
the enemies that suicide bomb
Eh.
explode into things are bad.
no, I
Like, I
think
like those
the
guys. If they just suicide bombed, I'd be
Yeah.
pissed. The fact that you can hit them and move them around to explode other things, it makes them a good enemy to me.
I
And
think
I
the
hate
most
them.
the annoying enemies are the ones that are, like, outside the range of, like, all of your archers and musketeers and just launch fucking bombs at you. So you have to, like,
The mortar throw.
walk over to them and kill them
I
annoyingly.
That's the one thing about the muskies I just didn't like is that it seemed like their targeting was a bit trash, I'm not gonna lie. Like, they'd shoot some bullshit that's, like, far away, and then they get uppercutted by, like, a thing in front of them. It's like, shoot
I
the thing
think
in
the
front of you, but you don't
descriptions of the units are whack. They do not do what they say that they do, and they do
Like,
things that
the
they say that they're not gonna. Because,
I
like, the cannoneers, they're like, "Oh, cannoneers are good for, like, small guys." But really, they do a shitload of resist damage, so actually, you
Wait,
wanna use it for the big
it
guy.
says they do a shitload of resist damage.
Right.
Here's my problem with the upgrades
But
is that
it says specifically for small
this game has
units,
a
like
lot of
it
shit
says
where
so.
it's, like, even,
It's, like,
like,
confusing.
Well, yeah.
talismans, it's just, like, slightly increase well, it's like, what does that mean? Moderately increase I I do hate when games have, like,
Exactly, you're
well,
like,
this va yeah, I don't like when games are like, "This
huge
gives
pet
you
peeve
vague
of
stat
mine.
increases." It's like
it's too locked in the flavor to,
yeah.
no, we don't wanna use numbers, like, everything's gotta be, like, flavor.
Yeah.
Like, they're
And it's
super
like
afraid of using any numbers for anything, which is annoying.
And I feel as though, like, I keep getting told I'm underleveled, which I was because I stopped building the towns after I got I think 7 of them fully done, I was like, "I just need to beat this game tonight. I'll stop doing the town." So I was underleveled, but I feel as though it would have helped me be more leveled if they gave me any number whatsoever when it came to how big my health was, how much my units are doing, you know? The only number I had was how many gemmies and dickhole points I
That's
had,
basically your level,
which was
realistically.
alright.
'Cause that's what
Um
allows you to, like you don't actually have, like, a traditional level. It's all just upgrade based.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
upgrade yourself and your troops with the pink
But
stuff.
if you don't have the stun attack upgrade, you're pretty much cooked on the final bosses.
But there was some times where I had to go big brain mode. For instance, the final boss has a nuclear strike. Seeing as how I wasn't doing enough stamina damage to him, when he shot his giant nuclear bomb, which looked pretty cool, after about 3 or 4 times of doing that, I would actually just use the, special move that, sacrificed my life to bring all of my units back because I was dying anyway. So there is certain things that you can do to make the game interesting, and it's set in place to, like, do that, but, that was few and far between for me. Not for nothing, I do wanna circle back. The music in this game is pretty decent.
I
I
think
do
the
like the
vibes are
music
crazy in this game.
and all of that. I don't think the level design
There's
is great.
the town the towns are cool. I think there's cool like, if you
Vibes,
look at the little shit that's going on when you're in the towns, there's a lot going on. There's a lot of, like, random detail for shit that they did not have to put in.
I agree to some extent, like, they
Well,
didn't
that's,
need
like,
to let me pet
base.
the dog.
Like, you
I
there's just
mean,
a lot of
this is
little
a
shit
game
to
where you
look
can
at,
pet the
man.
dog, but, like when for instance, when I upgraded something and it was fully done, it wasn't like that I got to see that working. You get what I'm saying? It's just a built building. The town didn't become more lively when I build everything in it. I didn't get to see a bunch of people walking around and living their life like an
Yeah, but
actual, like,
I
town.
think it's
It
'cause
You
so
get
it's
what I'm
like,
saying?
you kind of basically get that after you, like, remove the defilement from the town anyway, 'cause the town's not, like, drastically different from,
I got you.
when it's, like, clean or whatever, when you go there, it's kinda the same after you build it. So you're not really getting, like, a second I know what you're saying, though.
Yeah, yeah. I just wanted a little bit more to, like, I don't need the game to like, fillet me or anything. I just wanted more than just, like, a yellow sun icon to pop up on the screen and a little treat to, like, be there. I wanted to see the fruits of my labor. Not only that, the fruits of the villagers' labor of being like, "Okay, this town's done. Now I can see all the people living in the town. I made this town better," but it's still like an empty
I would be
town.
more
It's
I'd
just
be
that the
more
buildings
upset
are
with it
constructed.
if it
It's
didn't
a
take, realistically, like, 5 in-game town minutes to rebuild the town. 'Cause you're not really you're just clicking on these villagers to go to a building and fix it, and then leaving, playing a level, and coming back and maybe doing it one more time. So it's like you're not really investing this, like, huge amount of time in building it, you know? So I'm not really upset with the reward.
I felt like that I felt like that in the beginning, but in the middle of the game, specifically the Lake of Rot after, I felt as though the amount of time and effort that I was putting into making sure the chick made it to the end, I was doing to make the town good. You get what I'm saying? Like, I felt like that was time invested into making sure that the buildings that took wood went in, you know? I guess my working on the town, like, mentality placement was placed differently. I get that clicking the villagers onto the town and telling them to, like, rebuild the church or whatever the fuck I'm rebuilding isn't a lot of time, but doing the next level
I see what you're
was.
saying. See, for me, it was
So,
just, like, beating the
I
level
don't
was
know.
like, okay, my reward for that and the accomplishment is, like, getting closer to the fucking, the goal of, the whole thing is to get to
Yeah,
the top of the mountain or the bottom of the mountain or whatever. So, it was like
yeah. Which, Brabdo made a big joke where it's like, if you have to go down to the mountain and then go all the way to the top, you really do go all the way down this mountain and then go all the way back up to the top. It's just that going back up to the top involves the best part of the game.
also
which is the
And
boss
it's
rush.
one level, thank God, and not
Yeah.
fucking. I straight up, when I saw all of those fucking arches, I was like, "There's no
You're gonna have to
way."
go
One
back
of
Also, it
those is a
doesn't
level,
fucking,
dude. On
it
the way
doesn't
up
make
the
sense
stairs, I
because
was
it's
like,
like,
"There's
okay,
no
so you're
fucking
climbing back up,
way."
but you fight
So
like one of the
thank
first
God.
bosses that's on the top of the mountain on the bottom. I was kinda, like, annoyed by that, even though I get it, you're
at
gonna
the
put the harder
bottom.
bosses
Yeah.
later in the boss rush, but
Yep. And they completely omit the 2 flying bosses because they were essentially the same. I was
those are the
worried for
only
this game at the
bosses that
start
to
because
me
you had
felt
2
like
flying
throwaways.
bosses, like the
Like, they're like,
1st
"Eh,
and
whatever."
3rd boss or some shit like that. They were pretty close together.
Yeah, that's a throwaway.
Yeah. But
The
but
flying
again,
boss with the scythe, that was like
yeah,
I think that
like
was
you said
lame. They
earlier,
could have just
having to
put a
fight the
different boss
spider
there.
again, I was
That's
dreading
only
so
because
much. I hated
you
it.
literally
I hated
just
having to
fought at the
fight that
level
spider
before.
again.
It was just unnecessary, and it is like
Yeah.
I do like that
The
it made you
the thing
fight.
that's lame. Go ahead, sorry.
I was gonna say that it made you find the centipede again because you're like, man, this took so long the first time, but then like when you run it back, I did that shit in like fucking like 30
He
seconds.
smoke his ass,
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
he got annihilated.
And it's a good way to show
What
power level because
what
I
about that
really
one
did,
boss
aside
that's,
from the
like,
spider, just
masqueraded as a
walk
level?
through
You go
every
into
single
it thinking
fucking
it's a
boss.
level, and then it
Every
turns into
single
a
one.
boss fight. Yeah, yeah. It was kinda
Oh, Oogly Boogly or whatever the fuck his
Oh
name
yeah,
is?
yeah, it's
Yeah.
like Oogie's Manor,
it
dude,
did
from Kingdom
confuse me, and
Hearts.
then
You had to
I
like
I didn't
played
realize
shoot
I
the
was supposed
things
to,
on the
like,
side of
oh,
it.
you hit the
I was
fucking,
Yeah.
like, the
confused by it
lady
more than
thing,
anything.
you get the
Oogie's
stagger, I
man
was
is
like
crazy.
and I was like, "Oh." But yeah, it was confused
The
because I wasn't doing any
tongue.
damage.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, I figured that out eventually, but
Which is about as which is about as intricate as this game gets in boss design when it comes to like, okay, that's how you stagger the enemy. On top of that, I'm super happy that you didn't have to climb on top of that scaffolding and fight the little tongues again to get the boss up. I'm glad that the boss is just there because that was tedious. I did not like that as a level. Um, but but yeah, no, I mean, all that being said,
It literally
they
is
the
give
just
you a
one
like
little
fuck
boss
sniper
me for even
platform
thinking
there,
I
and
could
then
do that.
the arm just wipes them all out. You're like, oh, okay. You're like, okay, I
Worst part is
guess.
I
It's
did it the
like
second time
I
too, 'cause I
wasn't like
forgot,
so
and on the boss I
excited
set
about
them all
having
up for
these
the
like
boss rush, I was like,
powers
"Oh my
here.
god, I
I
forgot about
just
this
put my
dumb
guy
shit,
up on it.
dude."
Me too.
Forgot about the slam.
There's a lot unique about that boss. It's the only boss level I know of that has these little spawning eggs that spawn things instead of a gate. It's just eggs that shit out little guys.
Yeah.
That might be the best boss. I
I
don't
don't
know.
know. My little team
The
comp
best
was
boss is
so
the one with the
stacked that I
cannons,
didn't
dude.
even
I
engage
could
with
clear
any of the
that one in,
mobs.
like,
I
a
literally
minute.
was just attacking the guy with True. I was like, dude, I think I died like the first, like
Yeah.
I died like 3 times, and I was like, "What the fuck?" And then I realized you could actually stun lock with the cannon. Like, oh, this is literally nothing. You just cannon as soon as he gets back up. Oh, I'm getting back up. The cannon's ready to shoot again. It's like what? I thought you were gonna have to like lead him to the other cannon because the other one would still be cooling down and blah blah blah, and he wasn't gonna get stunned. No, you just press the cannon button. You could do it with
We
0
miss
pistols.
anything?
You ready for scores?
Think so.
Not that I know of. Like anything that I missed is complaints and bitches, and I don't think that I need to add to the complaints and bitches.
Very
I think that
strong.
we all know the strengths and faults of this game.
That's crazy.
I give it a 4.5. I can explain it. It gets a full
You should.
point. It gets a full point for music. It gets a full point for graphics. It gets a full point for uniqueness. It gets half a point for
It's
that final
5.5.
portion, and it gets a full point for the
Wait,
final
so
boss.
I'm
I
confused how
really
you rate
enjoyed the
games
final
then, 'cause
boss.
it's like
That's 4.5. Well, it gets no points for story because I don't think there was any. It gets no points for the
does it
personality
get a
of the
point for
thing. Like,
that?
it does work. This game did not
That's
crash.
bullshit, man.
This game did not
I feel
stutter.
like other games you would give a point, be
It
like, "It
doesn't lose
ran
any.
well, point."
Why?
No.
I mean, you can take the
I'm not
beautiful part out
disagreeing
of
with
it and
how
give it a
you
point there. It's a
your
four and a
score
half.
number. I'm
It
disagreeing
is
how you
less
come up with these, like
than mediocre.
so it's like, if a game's really good and has good gameplay, it's like it gets 4 points for gameplay. Like, how do we justify this? It gets a point for X like, seems flawed.
Then it it is I will keep it more general then. I feel as though this game was less than mediocre, but it had
It's the
some
same as Brave
strengths, and
Fencer
those strengths
Musashi.
are worth giving points for.
I think Frank gave it a 4.
Brave
Yeah.
Fencer Musashi was a 3 though, or a 2. I don't even remember.
Well, because I feel as though Brave Fencer Musashi has, like, the same place in my heart where it comes as, like, I feel as though it's a game I don't wanna play again, but whereas this game excels in charm and has the uniqueness about it. Brave Fencer Musashi has the, of its time and graded on a scale, with its own type of charm. Um, Thankfully, this game has less
That's why
glitch.
I
There's
was
no
just like, I
Skyday
feel like you
in this
hated
fucking
Brave
game.
Fencer way more.
Thank God for that.
Yo, dude.
I hated Brave Fencer in it for reasons that, like, are my fault.
I have a pathological hatred of that game.
I hated Brave Fencer for reasons that were genuine skill issues, like failing the steampunk tower too much, failing the final puzzle level too much,
Yeah, because the
having
controls
to
are
spend
fucking so ass. It's like
having to spend 2 days on the final boss, like, those are problems that can be circumvented. Like, my real problems with Brave Fencer Musashi
what,
is
Skyday? Come
getting
on.
is
That's why
Skyday and
I
the
just think
shop
that's why
not
I'm a
being
little
open.
confused
I
by
have
the
no
same
idea how to get
score.
like where to
feel-
go
I
because
feel-
the game does not tell you you should
Yeah,
vote.
not
I'm not saying
having
you loved this game or anything or even enjoyed it, but I do think
Having to
you had
take
a
the
better time
gondola
with
to
it
kill the
than
fucking
I remember
ant,
your
dude.
Brave
Oh.
Fencer Musashi experience. You were very mad at that game, man.
no, I had about the same amount of I had the same. Yeah,
At
I
least
was
I'm
mad, but here's why I'm mad at Brave Fencer Musashi. I'm mad because it has shit like go into the night and find a rabbit and kill it and
What do
then
you mean?
open
There's like
its egg
9
and that's how you get
bosses.
more health points. I'm mad at this game for having every level be an on rails tower defense that you cannot make go faster despite how great you are doing. And I like Brave Fencer Musashi because of the puzzle portions and because of like the places that it does do well. I think that
Hold on.
Brave Fencer
Can you
Musashi
name
made
one
me care about its
character
world
that's not the main
infinitely more
character
than
in
this
Brave
game did.
Fencer?
It's the same score, but for
He
different
didn't care
reasons.
about the world. What? No, he doesn't.
No. Can you
dude,
name
Sloppy Joe, the janitor.
Would
Dude, you
think
don't remember
so,
Sloppy
I don't
Joe? Come
you
on.
didn't even hit me with the
Can you name one character besides the goddess in tow?
well, I'm not claiming that I care about this world more than
Okay,
Brave
can you
Fencer.
name
Game
one
only
character
has 2
besides the
characters.
goddess and so in this game? I feel as though we've strawmanned myself into an argument that makes no fucking sense to me.
You don't
So,
recommend
this
it?
game's a 4.5,
Unique.
and I do not recommend it.
He's sticking to it.
No.
You think Broke's better than this?
Yeah,
If you want a unique
What
if
the
you
fuck?
want a unique game, play Baroque.
I disagree,
That
but
No.
true.
I think it's more unique.
Why are you gonna crash out? We're discussing
I would have
scores.
gotten 2 points for
I
uniqueness.
Let's move on. I'm gonna crash out. I'm gonna crash the fuck out. Because I don't even know what the fuck we're talking about now. Yeah, this game is
Oh,
not
wow,
as
we got
unique
2
as Baroque.
suckers.
Baroque is the
50,000.
only thing going for Baroque is that it's unique.
I'm giving this game a 4.5. But
All right.
okay, here's the thing. I gave Brave Fencer a 2. So this game is massively better than
Why
Brave
not?
Fencer.
Just give it a 5.
Actually, you know what? 4.5. I would give it like a 4.9. I just don't want to give it a 5.
Rabdo always surprises.
I would give it like 1.
How
If
the
you
fuck
consider
are
like
you rating this game more than me?
a 5, I would say is like a game that I would
You fell
is
for the
about
Bradville hive
absolute-
mind.
the absolute lowest I would recommend a game. And I wouldn't recommend this because I was ding. So I'd take one slice out of the 5 and end up with a 4.9. I just think this game is, for the vast majority of its runtime, extremely boring, extremely tedious, and also I feel like it loses points in my mind due to it just being wasted
Oh, yeah.
potential.
It wasn't cheap.
Because there was this game had at least some sort of money in on it. Like, I don't know, I just feel like it could have been cooler. Like, when I heard the description, I was like, "Oh, man, it's like a, it's like an action RPG with tower defense elements." I was
That's how
thinking
you score a game,
that the
Frank.
game would be a lot more entertaining than it was. So that's why the 4.9.
What? No.
I'm astonished.
Well,
He's point 0.4
my
points higher than
my
me,
only
and you
problem
asked
with
him
your
no
thing, Frank, it's
questions. I
not
don't know
like
what
I
I
said,
went
it
into
was the
this
score. It was
review
that you rated
thinking
it
I was
the
gonna
same as
drop
the
a
game
4, but
like
I've come up.
like, I heard in your voice how much you fucking hated Brave Fencer, and I didn't hear that same hate for this game, so I was just confused about the same score.
Yeah, because because I hated Brave Fencer for things that it did to me. I
I know,
dislike
that's the
this
reason I don't
game
like
because of what this game is slash could have been. There's
yeah,
also 20 years separating Brave Fencer and this game. The problems I
How
have
many
with
years?
Brave Fencer are problems that were ubiquitous throughout the industry.
well, the game
This
has no
game
reference,
could
it's
have been
kinda
more and decided
shooting from the hip,
d
making its own
actively
genre.
decided not to be. What
Hey, Fallout, what do you score on this game?
You know, as much as I fought for it, it's no like I'm not scoring it hella high or anything like that.
Uh-oh.
The reasons behind my scoring are like what I usually do, where it's something like a sevens. Like I recommend this game. It's a solid play, and I think you should get around to it. But it's not like it's outstanding, and then but fives average, etc. Right? I think that this game sits at a solid 6.5er, where it's a good play. It's got a lot of enjoyable
I'm at
aspects, but like I'm not
7.5.
going around telling people, "Hey,
It's
they should play this
unique!
game."
It's unique! Dude, so many games we
fair?
play are just the same fucking slop.
That's crazy.
Every fucking color. I'm just saying, dude.
Not this month.
Ray Natus was the
Not
most
for October.
generic game I've ever fucking played.
this game is 7 times better
This
than
game at least
Reynatus.
there's nothing
Yeah,
generic about this game. Another game like this does not exist. Whether it's shit or not, it doesn't matter. That alone is more interesting than anything Ray Natus ever did. Sure, dude. That's like saying Clair Obscur is a French game.
Games where you fight
No other
waves
French
of
game?
evil.
It's like you just boiled it down to one thing, and like, that's the game, Waves of Evil.
Yeah, yeah,
I know, but that's not what we're talking about.
yeah, Clair
I know, but
Obscur
that's not what
has
we're
a
talking about. You just
tremendous
boiled the
story
game down
with
to
a
Waves of
combat that
Evil.
has
Like, you
lots
can
of
boil
depth.
any game
There's
down
not
to
a lot
one
of depth to this
sentence.
combat, and there's no story.
What?
I just
The
don't give
game
I just
the
don't give
game's not
points.
that deep.
I don't give points to a
Not
game for
true.
unique. Like, I don't like
There's tons
if
of
you do
games that
something
come
that's
out
never
that have
been done
never been
before,
done, and
like,
they're
there's probably
great.
a reason why it hasn't been done before.
Yeah, that's almost
And maybe somebody
almost
didn't forget of
always.
it, but, like,
yeah. The reason is usually that it doesn't
I mean,
make
that's
a
another
bunch
reason
of
why it's
money, and
interesting.
not
You got
because
a
it's a
like,
shit fucking
an
game.
actual fucking
Capcom
AAA
is definitely
studio
not
taking a
interested in
risk for
making any
one
money.
time ever in the last fucking, what, 15 years? Not even but how's that politics? That's true, that's
I
true.
just don't score games on politics.
We see what there's 2 of us on the right side of history.
Yo,
I'll
the
say that.
Confederacy dudes coming at.
What do you mean? What I gave RoboCop, like, a similar score.
Game's better than RoboCop?
On the northern side of history.
True.
We
Shout
don't
out
need to hear
Frederick
from the
Douglass.
Canadians, by the way. We don't
What do you mean, dude? I'm
Whoa.
literally the most talking about.
It might get vetoed, man. I got Section 8 of Book Club Code
Alright, who's ready
9 right here.
for
We'll see.
October's game? Might get vetoed? I don't know.
Veto.
How do
So
we
here's the
feel
thing,
about,
here's the thing.
how do we feel
Damn.
about, Metal
You have
Gear
to pick an
Solid Delta Snake
October-themed
Eater?
game in October. That has been a
Veto?
It's in the
How will we
bylaw,
on
dude,
what
right
grounds
here.
do we veto?
Book Club Bylaw 9.
Oh shit!
What are you
I
talking about?
Metal
Bylaw
Gear
Code 9,
Solid.
bro.
Yo,
There's
shit.
no
We're playing
theme.
Metal Gear Solid
Halloween.
3.
No. Only October, man. There's no September
What was
games.
the theme for September?
Earth,
What
Wind,
the
and
hell?
Fire,
Hold
bro.
on. Rewind.
We're real. I mean, last October we played
he
Resident
wears
Evil, and the year
costumes.
before that we played Castlevania. I don't Bylaw 9.
I
Bylaw
mean,
9, dude.
you can make me go find a shitty horror game to recommend in the next 5 minutes, and then you'll have to play Metal Gear Solid Delta Snake Eater, 5 months from now. Or we could just let it
What if
run.
we play Poop Killer
We have to
2
justify that
Flush
thing.
again?
Wait, whoa. This is a spooky game. Hold
This
on.
is like as Die Hard a
This
Christmas
game
movie
has
right
spooky
now.
shit in it. We're the Psycho Mantis. Come on.
All right, I guess it'll do.
I think Metal Gear Solid is more of a Halloween movie than Die Hard is a Christmas movie.
This is gonna take
Metal Gear
Frank
Solid
take 40
3.
hours.
It's a 12-hour game. Lock in.
If I kill him while he's in the wheelchair going wait, hang on. If I kill him in the wheelchair while he goes into the plane,
Just play the fucking game.
do I get to say that I beat the
None
game?
of this dumb shit. You
You know what, dude? Let's just play the game. Let's just
Okay.
see you
Alright.
guys later.
I'm just letting you know that I'm setting my clock 100 years in the future on the final boss, so I don't have to do it.
Colonel.
play this sick, unique game, dude.
Alright.
That the
Any
North
closing
would have wanted you to
statements?
play.
Alright.
Shout out to you.
I think you'll find that Metal Gear Solid 3 is a very unique game.